Hello everyone, welcome to this video about these incredibly difficult licks of Rythme Future or Rhythm Future, depending on where you're from. It was requested in the context of my series on difficult phrases, difficult licks. These two licks were requested separately, but I thought I'd put it in one video. And I know the title is These Licks Made Easy, but that was kind of clickbait, because I'm not gonna lie, these licks are very difficult, and it might just be that you're not ready to play them yet. I wasn't ready for a long time, and I've talked to several people who tried playing this, and none of them found it particularly easy, except for one. And if you can guess who that is, I give you 1 million euros. But you're never gonna guess it. I tell you, it was Stoffel Rosenberg. He was the only one who actually told me that he didn't find it difficult. In fact, I asked him, did you ever practice slowly? He said, yeah, maybe once or twice. But then he did attempt it, not late in his career, but later. So it wasn't when he was like 12, maybe he was 16. So he already was playing for 5 years, 10 hours a day. And of course, he was very familiar with these kind of phrases by having studied all those Django solos. And another thing is that he's an absolute master of the double downstroke, the consecutive downstrokes. And the way he plays it is very insane. It's so many downstrokes. If you would look at the tab inside the Rosenberg Academy, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Because in order to be able to play it like him, you'd have to be a master of the double downstroke. And I consider maybe masters of that particular technique, maybe 3 guitar players: Stoffel Rosenberg, Moses Rosenberg, and I think Paul Schaefer is also pretty close. For me, I'm good at the double downstroke. Going steadily but slowly towards very good. But a master is something different. But the good news is you don't have to be a master of the double downstroke to be able to play as fast as Stoffel Rosenberg. Because he finds that technique so easy, he changes many of the picking patterns that I would play alternate. He changes that to double downs. And it's completely not necessary to do that. For him, it's just easier. And I'm gonna walk you through the way I play it, which doesn't involve that many downstrokes. So the first lick, maybe you've seen only people play it with these 2 fingers, 1 and 3, like this. Or maybe even with 1, 2. Probably like Django, or exactly like Django. But I'm a big proponent of using the 4th finger if you don't have to move it very rapidly continuously. And in this lick, if you use the 4th finger, you only have to use it every 4 notes or something. And then your hand stays in one position, and it's easier to get this, to keep it clean while playing fast. If you use 1, 3, you have a problem changing position right here from this G sharp to the C. Then this is very narrow, and most people that actually played with 1, 3, if you would slow it down, you would hear this. Even with a Stoffel. Of course, it's so fast that you don't notice it, but it is cleaner if you don't do it. So I'd say give it a try. If you have a really, if your 4th finger is not developed at all, then of course maybe you do it with 1, 3, or you could take this opportunity to train the fourth finger. So I use a pull-off so that I end up, and then the success of this line depends completely on one very difficult picking maneuver, which is this part. Let me see. This part. So how fast you can do this will determine how successful you will be at this lick. So the first thing is to be able to do this. So the difficult thing is it's a sweep followed by an upstroke and then a downstroke on a higher string. So a good exercise is to repeat this. So if you're able to play this fast, then the only other thing you need is your hand to recognize when this starts. Because all the other strokes are alternate, it's very easy to forget that this pattern is coming and then you get lost in alternate picking. So the way to practice it, or the way I practice it, is without a metronome at first and just play, then stop and recognize now the pattern is coming. And then play it slowly in time with the metronome. And every time this pattern starts, just say something to yourself or make a mental note. I'm gonna say now. 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 And as soon as I say now to myself, I think to myself, sweep up, down, sweep up, down. And then you speed it up. And the trick is to always be able to recognize when this pattern starts. Of course, you gotta be able to play this pattern really fast. So that's the first thing you gotta practice. Endlessly, very slowly with the metronome. Don't try to play the whole lick. If you cannot do this part up to the speed you're gonna play the song in, right? If you're gonna play this song at 280, then you have to be able to play this repeating pattern at 280. Otherwise, you just make it very difficult for yourself and very frustrating. And it is frustrating to practice this already. So don't add any more. Okay, so once you got this, and this will depend, some people find this very easy, other people find this extremely difficult. Then we get to this second infamous phrase that almost everybody finds very difficult. And the reason why it's difficult is because there is a double down in it. You cannot escape it. If you want to use the gypsy picking technique, there's a double down from the D is up, but then G, the B and the G are both down. I do a pull off again. Stochler does. So he has two double downs in this pattern, but we don't do that. We play it easy. Okay, so there's a couple of ways of practicing it. The first way is to skip the B and just play the rest of the phrase. So let me do that for you. And then to make sure that you hit all the notes, especially the two notes before the B and the three notes after the B. Because let's say you play this up to speed and you miss the B because it's double down. If you have all the other notes, it's still okay. But what usually happens is because only this one note is so difficult, you start messing up the whole line. So first, let's not play that B. Let's just play it without the B. Let's do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get to the run up in a minute. So these notes are very important to hear. If you're not playing the B, or if you are playing the B, those notes, you always have to hear this note. So now if you add the B, your focus should not be the B itself. It should be those other notes around it. And realize that from your hand is going up. So to hit the B, you just make a quick down, but your hand is still moving up to the next string. To this G. So now I'm gonna play it again, not too fast, and my focus will still be... This note is not important. Maybe I hit it, maybe I don't. Of course I'm gonna try to hit it, but it's not important. If I miss it, I won't be mad. But if I miss any of the other notes, I'll be very mad at myself. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, I try to really accentuate all the other notes. I think I missed the B once, but it didn't matter because all the other notes were there. So let's do it faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that you know what I'm thinking, you can probably hear that I'm really trying to play all those other notes, and that beat is just coming out naturally. And the way to make that come out naturally is to practice the half rest stroke to full rest stroke continuously. Maybe not in this phrase, but just isolated in the exercises that are in a couple of my videos. I will link those videos under this video. If you're not capable of doing those exercises at a reasonable speed, you will not be able to play this phrase. It's just the way it is, because this is so fast and the run is so non-stop that then to add this difficulty of the double downstroke might be too much. It was too much for me for a long time. Okay, now let's get to the next part, which is tricky, which is this run up. So the first, I have a little trick. Before this run, I do an open string, which is really part of. It's not a random open string. This D is really in the riff, but I've seen some people play it and they try to fret that D, which is possible. But I've noticed that if you play an open string there, you make it much easier on yourself. So I'm talking about this D. Most people play. So then you have another double down, and I can avoid it by playing an open string. Very easy. And now comes a diminished arpeggio up. And diminished is something I've practiced millions of times on the guitar. Well, thousands of times. I can dream diminished. Diminished is not difficult for me. I find it very comfortable. Right? It's the same phrase that is in Bossa Dorado. But then starting with, well, the first two notes are different. But the run it's the same thing. It's 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. And to get a full explanation on how to play and practice diminished with the white position, check the video that I made for Bossa Dorado lick, because I don't want to go over all that again. The explanation is in that video, and it's exactly the same for this phrase. You got to be aware on the pick direction, on position changes. You got to be aware of the white position. Okay. Now, some people might not like this fingering for diminished. It is what I call the Dutch system or Stochelo system for diminished, which is basically 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3 until you hit the last three strings, and it's 3, 2, 1. Right? But you also have what I call the French system or Anto de Bar system, which is this cell. So you have this 1, 4, 2, 1, 4. This cell is also in my exercises video called "Do these exercises to become a swinging speed demon." This cell is in there, and you can play that phrase with that cell too. You can play. And it looks easier, I understand that. It might be easier, but for me, because I'm so used to the Dutch fingerings of diminished, it is not easier. Actually, when I do this, I make more mistakes than when I use my... And I'm used to that. So that's your choice. You can use either the Dutch system or the French system. If you do the exercises in that video, there's exercises for both, and then you'll maybe develop a preference for one of the two. I think in the end, that if you are a master of the Dutch fingerings with diminished, there's more possibilities for you to play faster and also to reach more notes on the neck. So that's my opinion on that thing. But of course, Arnold de Bar is really fast, and he never uses that fingering. He always uses... For me, it's too much spinky, you know? But make your own choice. Okay, so that covers that phrase. It's just difficult, and it takes a lot of practice to be able to play this, and then it takes another whole level of craftsmanship to be able to play it in front of an audience. And then we get to this part. Actually, it's not that difficult, but it is very difficult if you come from all the other stuff. Then this coordination thing might be the most difficult thing in Rythme Future. For me, what helps, although I often also miss the first few notes, is to focus on the upstroke, the first upstroke, to the second downstroke. So it's from the F to the A flat, to the F upstroke, A flat downstroke. I focus on that, and then I'm synced, and hopefully the rest will go automatically. But it often goes wrong, and I'm not completely synced there. If you keep your hand relaxed, it's much easier. But then we get to this. So it's not really chromatic. It's just open 1, 2, 3. But now we need another 4 notes, and we only have 3 notes left before we hit the G. So what I do is what Stoffel does, I just repeat 1 note. And usually I repeat the open E string, so that I have these last 2 notes going up chromatically. I play open, 1, 2, 1. That's really a violin thing, but you could also do just slide with the first finger. Stoffel repeats the F. He does whatever is easier for you. For me, it's the open string. Yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna lie, it's just very difficult. The solution is lots of practice, maybe not even these phrases to begin with, but just the exercises to develop the double downstroke and to develop the dexterity in your left hand and to develop synchronization. And then when you are in a good place with those exercises, then I would go to this Rythme Future. Even though it's a lot of fun to practice, of course, and you could still practice it very slowly, but keep in mind that it will be a very frustrating thing to practice, because if you do the exercises, it can still be frustrating, but those are exercises, you know, there's no real goal. You don't have a kind of sound in your head. You're just trying to do those exercises as cleanly as possible. But with this composition, because there are recordings of it and there's Stochelo on YouTube playing it really fast, you have this, it's result-based practicing instead of work-based practicing. I always say, focus on the work, not on the result. So, because if you focus on the result, you get disappointed fast, you get frustrated really fast. And the advantage of exercise is that you can really focus on the work. And if you practice something like this, you'll focus on the result. I did. That doesn't mean you shouldn't practice it, but just keep it in mind. Only care about the work, not so much the results. Okay. I hope I see some videos of some of you trying to play this piece. And oh yeah, I reached 3,000 subs. So I want to thank you all for subscribing. And please subscribe if you didn't subscribe yet. I have a very fun video in my head once I reach 5,000 subscribers. When I reach 4,000, I will tell you what I'm planning to do for 5,000, and it will be a lot of fun. Okay? Until the next video. Bye.